Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, we had that case with Hurtigruten Cruise Lines in Norway and we looked after that side of the ocean. Well, why not have a case on the other side of the ocean too? That's right, Paul Gauquin Cruise Lines has confirmed that they have had a crew member on board test positive. Just one. And they were put into isolation immediately. The cruise line also, the minute upon discovering this. Now they normally sail Fiji in that area, Polynesian area. So they're very tropical. They're very small ships, so they're allowed to go to different small ports and small areas and anchor offshore and things like that. It's more kind of like of an adventure cruise and a very, very luxury cruise. It's very, very limited capacity. Plus, these ships were running at a lower capacity to begin with. But one crew member tested positive. Now, immediately upon getting that test, they turned around, canceled the cruise, and headed back to the home port. Everybody is still on the ship right now and they are being tested while that person is being isolated and all cleaning procedures, and they're following some of the most stringent rules and procedures that they came up with during the startup. So right now it's still only one person, and that's been 3 days now since this has been discovered. We are hoping that this did not spread to anybody else. But I have a feeling one of the passengers is going to come down with the virus. And the reasoning here is that Paul Gauquin did have some of the most strict rules for starting up and procedures. They were testing their people. Before they left their home, they were testing them when they got here. They isolated them before putting them on the ship, then they isolated them on the ship. So the crew members have been very, very quarantined, and it's a crew member who came down with it. So I have a feeling there was somebody who got on the ship who is very asymptomatic and probably ended up giving it to the crew member. Now, one of the differences, and a big difference from the Paul Gauquin cruise and the Hurtigruten cruise line, is that the Paul Gauquin cruise did require people to show a negative test for the virus before getting on the ship. So this begs the question, if nobody else comes down on the ship, that's great news, right? That's absolutely the best news you can hope for. If it's only that crew member, then you could say, okay, our isolation procedures worked, our testing procedures worked, no passengers got sick, everything is good. Our procedures worked, everybody's good. Now, if it turns out 3, 4, 5, 6 more people catch it on that small cruise ship, that would not be great. If it's a passenger who brought it on board, it pulls into the question in, what good is testing anywhere in the world then? If they tested negative for the virus before getting on the ship, and they're the ones who bring it on the ship and still spread it, and test positive after you get on the ship, then what good is testing anywhere? What good is it requiring tests to travel anywhere in the world? Because it just doesn't show up if that's the case. And that's the worrisome problem right now that they're looking at. Now, if it turns out no passengers have it, then that means something failed with this cruise passenger. Or was this a crew passenger who was dealing with somebody on the shore and got in contact with somebody that way, like, when they're loading things or, bringing on provisions or things like that? Or, did they have to head to shore for any reason, anywhere? That's the part we'll have to find out. So we're going to be watching that cruise line just as much as we're watching Hurtigruten Cruise Line in Norway. We already know it's not great in Norway. Best case scenario, one crew member, isolated. By the way, in absolutely all cases, including Hurtigruten Cruise Line and the Paul Gauquin cruise, everybody is showing no symptoms. Very, very minor, like one person had the sniffles. That was it. They're very, very asymptomatic. So there's no stress. There's no real person in emergency that they're on ventilators or anything like that. So it's very, very mild cases, and in some cases you would not know. Absolutely would not know anybody has it because they're completely showing no signs of anything. So that's good news for everybody who's involved that way. So let's hope that the Paul Gauquin cruise, it's only that passenger. Everybody else gets cleared on their tested. They get everybody off the ship. They keep an eye on the passenger. He recovers. Nobody else on the ship gets sick. Best case scenario. If it turns out it's spread to other passengers and other crew members, that would be two different areas, two failures, and Paul Gauquin does have pretty strict procedures on board, and they're a very small specialty cruise ship, which means easier to keep people in, with the mask, keep people in line, keep people separated, do the self-isolation, 6 feet apart, all that stuff. So it'll beg the question, is it even possible anymore? Is it even possible? And so I'm hoping for the best, and I will be watching this very closely. I'll let you know as soon as we hear anything about either cruise line, and let's just keep our fingers crossed, first of all, that everybody is safe, everybody is healthy, and they get this resolved in a proper way. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.